Good morning, welcome back. This is part 2 of the Sharp VZ 2000 restoration. First off, a huge thank you to Mr. Moan of Tech Moan. If you put Tech Moan in your search on here on YouTube, you will find him. He is a whiz on anything audio, electronics and stuff like that. Top guy. And what he's done basically is he's had one of these machines in, and he has gone through the strip down process of this machine. So I won't bore you with that just yet. I want to crack on with this and get it done. My belt's turned up. There's the belt for the turntable. I've got some other belts turning up this afternoon for the tape drive. So that's all good. So I'll quick once over. You can see how skanky it is. Now I've taken them sliders off, and especially inside there, it is proper nasty. Okay, let's just carry on along there. Right, now there was two little screws holding this front plate on the cassette player. They're there, so you can just unscrew them, take that off, and clean the heads, which is really good, isn't it? Excuse me.
Sorry.
What was that noise?
Sorry.
Just so you know, that wasn't me yet. Okay.
I'm sorry.
How did you manage to keep that so quiet? Anyway, yes, I've removed the wheels. That was a bit of a challenge. And as you can see, they're crying out for a little bit of a clean and a polish. I've removed these two plates from the bottom. Again, if you watch TechMoan, he will show you how to do all that kind of stuff. If you're going to attempt a clean on this is the front cover, which went on there. 4 Phillips screws, and that just needs to go in a nice warm bowl of hot soapy water, as does that. So I'm taking parts off as I go. Needs to go in the bowl. Now I managed to get all these out. Now what I did to get those out, because they are quite fragile, is I put some heat shrink on the end of my pliers so as not to scratch or gouge, and literally pop them out like that. One was fractured. There it is. Just like Mr. Techmoan's, he had a broken one too. So the parts from there should still be in there. And there it is. You can just about see it. Those got holes in it. That's filled up with the rest of that. So that needs to be glued. Remember those bolts from the back? Yeah, they need to be removed. They are the transportation bolts, I have read. So they're going to go in the parts trays. And as I remove screws, they will all go in there as well. I have a little magnet for picking things up when I drop them on the floor. Yeah, this booklet is absolutely comprehensive. The only thing it doesn't show is Mr. Techmoan has them himself. He has downloaded the PDF file of how to take it all apart. But now I've watched his video about 1,500 times, I now know. So it tells you all about it and how to control everything. But the best part is the person that had this before me, from new, had these drawn up or made up. So you have the complete and utter schematics for this whole machine, 2000E. So there's your tuner and power supply section. If we turn it over, you've got your level meter, mic, amp and audio control section. It is so comprehensive. So if I have any trouble in the future with anything on this, and here's the second one. So we've got tape deck and power amp section. Just shows you everything on there. And the player control and phono and amp section. So that's all there. So that's really comprehensive and full and helpful. Right, let me just fold that back up. Like so, put that to one side. And guess what was in there as well? the original guarantee from Sharp. Do you know, I'm tempted to sign all this and send it off and see what the reply is. Never mind. Look at that. Electronics, Uxbridge Road, Southall, Middlesex. And there we go. And that's all on the back. Absolutely fantastic. So all it needs for me now is to strip him down and start cleaning and take the turntable out and get that belt on. And I can put all that bit back together and work on the cassette player when they turn up, those drive belts. Right, let's crack on. Okay, so we've gotten the clamshell open. What a palaver that was. I was hugging and a tugging, but there was one little screw left in there, which I undid. It went into there, look, that little piece there. It wouldn't come off. Well, that's only elongated so far, so why is that one bigger? And I looked in, a little tiny grub screw in there, took it out, clam apart. Now I just need to undo that little plug. Where is it? Up under there, which is the speaker. There, one there, let you see. So we need to get in there and jimmy that one out, jimmy the other one out, and go from there. Look at all of that. Right. Let's continue with the beastie. Okie dokie. Well, the front is off, and you can literally see all the bonus in there. That licky licky. Oh, I just saw an orb then, I think. Like I say, the speakers come out with the front panel, like so. It's a little bit of a weird setup, but it works, so that's good. Anyway, I needed to get that off because I need to undo all these screws to take that out, so I can get in to clean in there. And here is what's left of the beast, and it is all that was connecting up was these two speaker leads. You've got one there and one here. Here's that little micro switch. Let's turn the unit off when it's lifted off the ground. And we've got all of these gubbins. Needs a darn good defluff, doesn't it? Absolutely. Ew. But now we can get in here. We can get this panel off, sorry, this one off there, get it in the soapy water, get all that gunge out of there, try and hook that piece of broken slider out and fix that, and then just crack on. Bit shaky. That was a task and a half, a full cream meal. Here we are with the fascia in the kitchen. Nice bowl of warm to fairly hottish soapy water. I have some old last generation cotton buds with the plastic on, some paper towel, some isopropyl alcohol, my JIS screwdriver, and here are all the little bits and pieces that I've taken off so far that can go in for a nice soak in a minute. Do I completely submerge that? I don't know. Yeah. Right, they're going in. Okay. Right, do you remember someone had pressed my knob too hard and it was inside there? Well, let me just show you the back of it and you'll see what's happened. Let me just pause it there. Right, here we are. Here is the reverse side of all those buttons up there. Look at that crap in there. Ugh. Hopefully I can remove that. Oh, it's just stuck on. But that bit's failed there and fallen down a bit, so that needs to be up like that. Anyway, so we have 6 in situ, and basically they're just like that with a little hook over. Now when I took this all apart, that little hook that fell out the bottom, so that needs to be reattached oops, where are you? Reattached to there, pretty much. Look at the greenery on there. Crazy, isn't it? So these all need to come out and have a very gentle but thorough clean, because you've got that algae going in there. I need to remove all of these webbulets as well. So let's pop, well, I don't want to pop that in there, but let's pop that button in. Now, how do I get this off? I don't really want to damage that sponge in the back of there or really touch this sponge too much. But it looks like if I undo that and that, it won't do a lot, because I can't slide the bar out because these buttons are in the way, and that's all plastic welded in. And I can't just pop the shaft out because it is heat welded there and there, oh, and there, and probably there as well. So I might have to just get rid of that to get these buttons out. Unless they, no, there is only one way, and that is to get that shaft out. That's what I'm going to do next. Then all those knobs can go in the cleaner. And whilst that's cleaning, I can then get my screwdriver out and attack these 8 screws to get these back covers off. It looks like I'm going to need to renew that tape. It seems to go all the way round this tape here, and it seems to be like duct tape. It's certainly very, very strong, and I don't think I'm going to be able to save it, because that has to come apart regardless. I've got a piece of wood in there. That might have been where I was trying to lever those top knobs off, these 2 dials. Never mind. What's going on here? Okay. We have a broken peg. See that? We've got a peg that side. So somewhere floating around in the lounge is that other peg. Now, what can I do to reattach that? That's why that lid wasn't shutting properly, isn't it? It's in there, look. There it is. Well, I don't think glue is going to repair that. What I might do is get a fine drill bit and go down the centre of there about 4 or 5 mil. And get a fine drill bit and go through that same hole, and I could put a little carbon pin or something in there and then glue it together. Gives it a little bit more purchase. The only other option I've got, of course, is to countersink, is to drill that out basically, and countersink in here very finely and put a very fine bolt. Why does my finger look orange? It's not orange, I can assure you. Looks like I've been smoking for 1,000 years. Yeah, so put a bolt through there, very thin one, about the same length as that pin that's missing. That's well, it's up the top there. And then fine bolt on there. Will that work? No, it won't, will it? Because it's going to hit. It's going to hit that, isn't it? I'll work it out. You know what I'm like? I will sort it. And that is extremely loose. I don't think it's supposed to be that. It's that little clip. Yeah, that little clip's broken. That bar is bent down. That's got plenty of tension on it. It's this end that's not healthy. That all seems fairly straight. Unfortunately, these buttons are all plastic, so they can't really take a lot of forcing at all. Yeah, look at that, look. It's absolutely fallen apart. Okay, well that needs addressing, doesn't it? So, more questions than answers. Usual fare, isn't it? That's the on-off button. That's the door release button. And all these seem to be okay. That's fine. Right, let me crack on then, taking this tape off, getting those 8 screws out, seeing what can be done with that. I guess that can go in there for a little bit of a Jerry McGrath. Soak that. There's some tools of cleaning. I've got my fine detailing brush, little paint brush, very fine, and that's sort of like a stippling brush to get the real big bogies off. Right, this isn't going to take an hour, is it? Which is good, because we like long videos, don't we? Okay, let me crack on before that water gets cold, and so do I. Right, let's go. Let's do it. Come on, E.T. Yeah, you're not going to believe it. 41-year-old. Okay. Just peels off. And this is as sticky as anything. Would you believe that? I am dumbfounded. The quality is second to none, isn't it? Right, let me unpeel all this. Right, I've got 2 speaker screws out so far. Thus, I've managed to unpeel this. There's no point in me trying to take that all out. So what I've done basically is I've just jimmied it down so it's not attached to the back cover. So let's get these screws out. Magnet on a stick, guys. Can't beat it, can you? Okay. Magnet on a stick. Get in there. Right, stay there. Now, you're going to see this for the first time, same as I. We have some wadding. We have a little plug down there, so I don't really want to... Doesn't look like that can be removed easily. Ah, yes it can. It can be pinched in there. That top little pin. The bottom little pin, so I need some long nose something or others to get that in there. Right, what have we got in here then apart from dust? Nice little baffle in there. Well, I say little. It's a big old piece of baffle, isn't it? Just absorbs the base and softens it. Okay, there is the beautiful sharp speaker. What does it say on there? Can we make it out? No. Sharp 16 watt, I think 4 ohm, and they look superb condition. This is just, I think, yes, it's just sort of like a reinforced cardboard if you like, and then the outer ring is obviously sort of rubberized to stop everything splitting. So I need to disconnect this to get this out of the way, to get that in the bowl, and then I need to undo these 4 retaining screws so I can pull this forward and out and unplug it. Let's have a look and see if any, should be sort of polarity on there, shouldn't there? Right, constant trace there, and right in there. So writing on the right. That will remind me. E.D., you've lost the plot. Look at this. It's just bloody awesome, isn't it? What have we got in the back of there? Not a lot really, just a little bit of dust. Okay, let me go and get my long nose out and we'll sort out this and get to the bottom of it. I'm loving it. Okay, just taken out those 4 screws and unplugged the cableage to there. Let's take this off and have a look together. Oh boy, that's good. Let's not put that anywhere near that magnet. What have we got? Yeah, this stuff is still rubbery. Thank you very much. Brilliant. Right, that needs a very delicate suck job, I think, doesn't it? Just suck all that out of there. And now, look at that. That's absolutely stunning, isn't it? Right, let's see what it's like inside the enclosure. Oh my word. Oh my God. It is actually... You could measure the thickness of that easily. Oh my word. Oh my goodness. Now I don't want to get any moisture near this metal grill because it will just find an area that hasn't got paint on it or whatever, and it will just start to rust from the inside out. I don't want to be doing that. Oh my goodness. Now luckily we've got a shark hoover. It's not a real shark, no, it's just a hoover, and on it has a tiny little attachment that's about the thickness of that with a little brush on the end. That is going to be absolutely a godsend to clean all that goo out of there and all this out of there. I probably should have done dusty stuff before I exposed this stickiness. But there we are. Caroline came in, right, and she went, "Oh, do you need that plug out of there?" And she got the old tweezers there. Where are they? There again. Bit of heat shrink on the end, just in case, for delicate works. And she, oh shit. No. Yeah, she just pushed the 2 little lugs in, and pop, out it came, which enabled me to give it a good wash. Now, obviously, if you go anywhere near that sponge, it's dead sponge. You just touch it, it falls, it just evaporates basically. But that has been almost submerged. That was a lot dirtier. You can see it's slightly different tint of silver. Well, before that was like brown. So that's now had a clean. That's where that plug was. I need to go over it. I've got a mini hot air gun, which is really good. So if I give that a good blowy later, because you don't want any moisture going in here. Any moisture plus speaker equals our survey said. Okay, now it looks like I can take off 4 more, 3 screws, 1, 2, 3, to enable that front chrome bezel to come out, because that's screaming out for a soak in the bath of goodness, isn't it? So what we got there, max 13 watt, 4 ohm tweeter. This baby, look at it, it's tiny. It's dinky, so that needs to be unscrewed first before I then take that off to enable the front panel to come off. Still got to do that. Still got to get that pin out of there and somehow fix it onto there. This is all out of wash. Look how these have come up, look. Absolutely stunning. It's gorgeous. There were a few brown bits on there just around this rim here, but that was glue. It was the old Evo sticky type stuff. So I took the plunge to plunge them, submerge them completely, and I think it paid off. There's my green knob that used to be bacterial-fied, so that's all clean, ready for a bit of glue. And there's that old tape tray, receptacle tray. Yeah, all the little heads come through there, don't they? Groovy. Right, let me crack on. I am so excited. This is mental. Ooh, time for a brew, reckon. Right, well, that's all had a jolly good soak and a dry off, just in case any of that paint on the back there decided to disappear. So that's all done. That's all dried off. Look at my knobs, honestly. Have you ever seen such a beautiful pair? Wow. This front cover that goes over the turntable has got, I don't know if you can see that there, it's got some sort of gunk on there. There are scratches, as you can see. There's 1, 2, 3, so something like a zigzaggy. But apart from that, it's not too bad. There's a little bit of swirl going on there. I'm not bothered about that. If I really wanted to be Alan about it, I could cut it in with some ultra fine polish and the old drill. Yeah, what do you call it? Yeah, I know, you're shouting at me, aren't you? I know. So I need to find something to get rid of that, whatever that is. It doesn't really move very well, but I can't put anything petroleum based or anything sort of abrasive on there, because that will just go in, it'll be worse than what it is. Right, let's get sucking. Here is that little attachment kit I was talking to you about. It is chuffing brilliant, and if you need stuff that's actually smaller than that, then you have all these detailing brushes. I mean, look at that. That is absolutely flipping fantastic. That just slots in the end of there. Flipping brilliant, isn't it? So I'm going to be doing that now. I don't want to torture you with all that noise, because I want to get in there and get all this crud out of there, and especially looking forward to doing that. so rewarding. Right, well, as you can see, it took a lot of cleaning up. That had like little brown dots on it. It was like coffee. You touch it and it's smudged. You can be very careful when you're touching these chrome domes because they have a tendency to pop in. If that happens, simply get your magnet and very carefully tease it back out. Right, so that's all done. Now, I managed to see there was a screw at the back and 2 locating pegs at the bottom there. One there. And I thought, I wonder if these come out. And more importantly, I wonder if I can get the mesh off. Everything goes apart, so it should be able to come apart. So, in answer to your question, yes. So I've managed to jimmy off this, which is great because I didn't realise just how much crap is in here. Look at that on top of that. So I'm over the moon. So that's that sorted. Here's the mesh. Now what happens there, how you remove the mesh, you see it's got like little tabs sticking up, 3 each side and 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom. Okay, and they are, let's have a look on this one, they're bent over, look. See, so you just gently, flat blade screwdriver, just gingerly tease them up very slowly, make them flat against there, and then bend them back in slightly. And once you've done that, you literally get your knuckles in there, holding the plastic, and you push, and that eventually pops out. They were tough, don't get me wrong. Okay, so that's all cleaned. That's all cleaned, beautiful, all polished. I got these pieces off. They are absolute works of art, aren't they? Ooh, beautiful. And I've also done a bit of fixing. That's glued, ready to go back on. I'm hoping that's going to hold. I've just super glued this peg on. Whether or not it holds is another matter. I'm just going to do that and see what happens. If worst case scenario, when that's gone off tomorrow and I start reassembly, if it just falls off, I'm just going to glue it back on again, wait a few hours, drill a fine hole in there and just put a tiny little self tapper in there. I have miniature ones just to hold it on. I've had the Hoover attachments in all of this. This is all, I managed to get all these buttons out. They are all there, all clean, nice and ready to go back on, so that's all good. Like I say, I took those pieces out, little speakers, little tweeters, they're there. Beautiful, aren't they? Absolutely. So I'm literally now going around it with my little stipple brush, dipping it in the old washing up liquid, very dilute washing up liquid, and just going like this and then getting a dry cloth and toweling it off. Yes, I've managed to fix that little catch in the back of this eject system there, so that's all good. See that little catch popping out, that? So that's all working good. Just need to give that a few more hours whilst I completely and utterly overhaul even all this. These buttons can't come out. These buttons can, but it's a real jiff of a monkey because behind there's a couple of big screws and they have springs on them. So you take that off, it's a whole can of worms. So what I'm going to do very carefully, when this is all back together, you see that little bit of tarnish on each front of each switch there. Just going to get a very soft toothbrush. I might even get the old Johnson & Johnson there. Tiny bit of Ultrasol, literally just a vapour of it on there. Just give him a little bit of a rub and that should come off beautifully. There is a little bit of damage, but personally I think it's character. You know, it's 41 years old, for goodness sake, it's going to have the odd knock and bop, isn't it? But this has all come up really clean. Well, as it's all quiet in the lounge, and that is in there soaking, sink you swine. Let's go and have a look at the deck itself. Right, well there it is in all its glory. I managed to unscrew the turntable and flip the whole thing up and over, but what you have to do is you have to unclip if you've watched our Techmoans video, you'll see what you have to do to free up all these cables. Some weren't pegged in there, but you have to unpeg them, so it enables you to turn that turntable over to the back side of it. Now let's have a look at this turntable. Come on, focus. There we have the turntable. You can see where the rubber used to be, this dark groove. And if I spin it around a bit, there is actually a bit of old belt still on there, and trust me, it's gone back to its original state. It is literally gone back to rubber, liquid rubber. It's like flipping, it's like ink. So isopropyl alcohol should sort that out. Here is the elastic band on the stepper motor. Can you see the problem here? It's a bit like me, a bit floppy. So that needs to come off of there, and I need to find something similar. You can see how perished that is, see how cracked it is. Or absolutely, it's just on the verge of popping apart, isn't it? And again, we've got all the cleaning to do, hoovering to do. That's the motor for the turntable itself there. And the little pulley is just under there. You can just about see it. That needs cleaning. You see how black it is? It's literally that rotten rubber gone straight onto there. So needs a good clean. This needs a re-grease. Never oil anything on these things. Always use a bit of lithium, a little bit of grease on there, especially on these like mechanisms here. There's the old grease there. Let's see a little blob there. Or is that where I sneezed earlier? It might be where I sneezed. I can't remember. But there, yeah, there's a little stepper motor. Just going to clean everything, clean all the pulleys, and yeah, it's all good. Then I've got all this loveliness to clean up. Oh, look at it. It is just gopping, isn't it? Let's just turn that light off a minute. Kind of shows up a bit better. That is proper, isn't it? Proper snottiest. Where are we? I managed to hook out, where are we? That piece of plastic that was wedged in there, I managed to hook that out, and that is drying as we speak. In actual fact, it's right here, look. So that's been sat in there curing. Oh man, look at the state of that. That's all the selector buttons. So you've got like tape, auxiliary, phono, fast forward, rewind, side A, side B, blah blah blah. Yeah, there's so much to do. So I'm going to wrap this episode up here because it's quite long enough by half. Because I have got absolutely freaking tons to do. I hope you're enjoying this little series of episodes. Me trying to restore this behemoth of a music system, portable. It's not a ghetto blaster. Can you imagine trying to get that on your shoulder? You need to be Jeff Capes. Google it, kids, to get it up there, won't you? So, right, I'm going to wrap this up here. Drop a like, please, if you're liking this. Please consider subscribing, and I will see you again in part 3. Take care. See you later.